Welcome to The Explainer. Let's just jump right in, because today we are heading into one of the last places on Earth where human footprints are still, honestly, incredibly rare. We're talking about the Amazon. It's a 5.5 million square kilometer enigma. The canopy out there is so impossibly dense that sunlight barely even makes it to the forest floor. And behind every tree, beneath every river, and in every single shadow, there's something hiding that modern science just hasn't fully grasped yet. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see exactly why the Amazon isn't just a big collection of trees. It is a massive, living, breathing macroorganism that literally acts as the lungs of our planet and keeps us all alive.
Now, I want you to just think about this for a second. If the Earth were a human body, where exactly would its lungs be? It sounds like a massive metaphorical premise, but scientists actually answered this question a long time ago. The breathing apparatus for our entire planet is the Amazon rainforest. This is absolutely its most vital role, and it's a job it performs tirelessly, day in and day out on a scale that's almost unimaginable. Every single year, this one forest produces roughly 20% of the entire world's oxygen. Think about what that actually means. Every fifth breath you're taking right now contains oxygen birthed by this unbelievable natural engine. It is quite literally, physically sustaining global life. But, breathing isn't just about exhaling oxygen. It's about inhaling, too. And on the flip side of that breathing process, the Amazon absorbs a staggering 2.2 billion tons of carbon dioxide every single year. It acts as the ultimate planetary air filter. A massive chunk of the pollution that global factories and cars are spewing into the air is just quietly swallowed up by these trees. Without making a sound, and without asking for a single thing in return, the Amazon is constantly protecting us from our own carbon footprint. To really wrap our heads around how it does all that heavy lifting, we have to talk about scale. The Amazon is so huge, it stretches across 9 different nations, all the way from Brazil, Peru, and Colombia, right over to French Guiana. Put it this way, if the Amazon were a single country, it would be the 9th largest country in the entire world. Yet it operates as one unified living entity that completely ignores our human borders. It only follows its own ancient rules.
Which brings us to Section 1, the great artery, the Amazon River.
So if the forest is the lungs, it absolutely needs a circulatory system, right? It needs a main artery to pump life all the way through its immense body. And that artery is the world's largest river, the Amazon River. To really understand this river, you have to understand its terrifying, unbelievable power. 29,000 cubic meters. That is the volume of water the Amazon discharges into the ocean every single second. To put that into perspective for you, it's pushing out more water per second than all the other major rivers of the world combined.
And what happens when that unstoppable wall of fresh water hits the ocean is it's mind-blowing. The sheer volume of it physically overwhelms the ocean. The Atlantic, which is obviously famously salty, is literally sweetened. It's turned into fresh water for 160 kilometers outward from the river's mouth. The ocean itself literally has to bow to the power of the Amazon.
Then you have the wet season. The river expands so dramatically, it's honestly hard to even comprehend. It can reach widths of up to 48 kilometers. That is wide enough to swallow an entire major metropolitan city whole. And this massive central artery, it's fed by a network of over 10,100 smaller tributary rivers that act like the capillaries of the forest, feeding the soil and the roots miles and miles away.
It's exactly this kind of wild scale that made Charles Darwin say, "Nature's creativity has no limits." And that perfectly bridges us into the unmatched biodiversity of the region. If the trees are the lungs and the river is the artery, then this biodiversity is the immune system and the beating heart of the forest.
Let's look at the disparity in life density here. If you were to take every single river in all of Europe and combine them, you'd find about 500 species of freshwater fish. In the Amazon River alone, there are over 3,000 species. It is 6 times more biologically dense than an entire continent's waterways.
But the greatest mystery in these waters isn't actually a fish at all. It's the bodo, the Pink River Dolphin. This animal is an absolute biological marvel. For one, the older they get, the pinker they become. But it's their anatomy that is truly staggering. Their brain capacity is 40% larger than ours. And their necks, they can rotate a full 180 degrees. That little trick allows them to brilliantly navigate backward through the incredibly dense submerged tree lines during the flooded season, getting into places where no human boat could ever dream of reaching. But of course, This is the Amazon. It's a place where the line between hard science and indigenous folklore gets really blurry. Local legends say that at night, the Bodo shapeshifts into a beautiful human and walks right into the local villages. And the haunting part of that legend? They say those who actually lay eyes on this human form never, ever return. When you live in a forest this ancient and this isolated, the line between reality and magic just gets very thin.
Now, obviously not all the shadows in the Amazon are just folklore. Some are very real and very silent dangers. Enter the green anaconda. Weighing up to 250 kilograms and growing up to 9 meters long, it actually really struggles to move on land. But in the water, it is a silent, heavy shadow. It doesn't bite its prey, it wraps around them. With every single exhale the victim takes, the snake tightens, slowly constricting deer, crocodiles, and yes, according to record history, even humans. Danger here doesn't scream at you. It just arrives silently from beneath the water.
Yet even with all these hidden dangers, scientists just keep going back, and for really good reason. In the year 2023 alone, 279 brand new species were discovered in the Amazon. If you do the math on that, it averages out to a new scientific discovery every 30 hours. The forest is still actively hiding its secrets from the modern world. Moving on to Section 2, the Uncontacted Guardians.
Because it's not just plants and animals hiding out in that deep canopy. It's people, the protective soul of the Amazon. Deep within the Brazilian Amazon alone, there are over 100 uncontacted tribes living entirely off the grid. We're talking no smartphones, no internet, absolutely no knowledge of the outside world. And they fiercely defend those undocumented territories. There are verified accounts of them literally shooting arrows at passing helicopters just to protect their absolute isolation.
But there's a really tragic paradox happening here. On one hand, a simple, common cold from the outside world can be totally deadly to these tribes, simply because their immune systems have never encountered our modern bugs. But on the other hand, they possess this irreplaceable ancient knowledge. They know exactly which plants cure which diseases, and which herbs act as antidotes to jungle poisons. It's a complete library of medical knowledge passed down for millennia that is completely unknown to modern science.
And that leads us into Section 3, Memory and the Secrets of the Lost City.
See, buried deep within the forest floor are ancient mysteries and lost histories that prove the Amazon has a much more complex human past than we ever imagined. You really have to hear the tragic timeline of British explorer Percy Fawcett. Back in 1906, he mapped parts of the Amazon that no European had ever laid eyes on, but he became completely obsessed with a legend, a massive, advanced civilization of stone and gold hidden deep in the jungle, which he called the City of Z. In 1925, he, his son, and a friend walked into the jungle to find it, and they vanished forever.
And the really crazy part? The deadly allure of Fawcett's mystery didn't stop with him. Over 100 people across 13 different subsequent expeditions actually perished in the jungle trying to find Fawcett in his legendary city. The forest just simply swallowed them whole.
For decades, pretty much the whole world just thought Fawcett was a madman chasing a myth. But then, 2017 happened. Scientists used LiDAR technology, firing lasers from above that could penetrate the thick canopy to map the ground beneath. And what they found literally changed history. They revealed ancient roads, building foundations, and massive agricultural terraces. An immense, sophisticated society of an estimated 10 million people once thrived right there beneath the jungle canopy. Fawcett wasn't crazy after all.
But of course, answering one question just opens up a whole new, massive mystery. To sustain 10 million people, they had to engineer something called Terra Preta, a man-made, incredibly fertile dark earth filled with charcoal and organic matter that remains miraculously fertile thousands of years later. So the ultimate question we're left with is, who exactly created the Terra Preta, and where did this massive civilization go? Did the jungle just simply reclaim them? Well, that is a mystery that demands its own deep dive, and we're going to be breaking down the secrets of the Terra Preta in our next explainer. Make sure you stay curious, and I'll catch